Sorry about that. That's called the window swirl. Raise your hand if you like snakes. Like, think they're really cool and awesome and pretty neat. Not bad. I think all that. I really do. I think they're misunderstood animals. Would y'all rather me use this, or would you rather me use this? Want the mic? Raise your hand. That looks like a majority. Okay, my name is Clint Pustiowski. I've been working with snakes just about all of my life. I started getting interested about the age of 5. I'm now 56, and I loved it when I turned 55 because, like I said, I've been messing with these animals for 50 years. Just something that I've always wanted to be able to say. They're misunderstood, and I could talk about that all day long. So what I'm going to talk about today are some basic things. We're going to talk about some benefits of snakes. I'm not going to go into all the medical benefits, how they help with cancer, break up blood clots, and save our lives. I mentioned it a little bit. I want to talk about them from a little bit different of a perspective. And then I'm going to talk about their behaviors, because that is what can tell you the most about these misunderstood animals. The only good snake is a live snake. Dead snake cannot help anybody, cannot benefit a human being in one way, maybe a belt or food, and that's about it, but I can't think of a real benefit or a good lasting one. So this is what I normally cover in my talks. This right here. Identification. For example, there's 4 types of venomous snakes: rattlesnake, cottonmouth, copperhead, and coral snake. 15 species in the state of Texas. We have 3 copperheads and we have 10 rattlesnakes, making up that 15. And then I talk about these cute little rhymes. We've all heard them: red and yellow kill a fella, red and black friend of Jack, or venom black. They're cute little rhymes. They're not identifiers. They're just cute rhymes. Yeah, that's a coral snake on there. Good, I like that. See, same photo actually. And then I'll talk about my favorite snake, the cottonmouth, and talk about how you really identify the snake. Has nothing to do with its triangular head. Has nothing to do with it being solid black, because it's not. Has nothing to do with how it smells, or it has a stub-nosed tail. Has to do with a 90-degree angle coming off of its nose. We'll talk about that more. Did that do that by itself? Okay. So how to keep away from snakes. This is easy. Everybody watch. You see a snake. 1, 2, 3. And bye-bye. Check you later. That's what you do when you see a snake. Stay away from them. Leave them alone. Guess what? You don't get bit. You don't have to see Dr. Spencer Green over there. And if you haven't met him, take your time. Because if you get bit by a venomous snake, there is only one person in Southeast Texas I will recommend, and he's in this room. So, take 3 giant steps backwards. You don't want them around your house. Use cedar. Cedar products, cedar granules, cedar oil, cedar mulch. When you mulch your flower beds, use cedar mulch, not that black stuff. Pine actually encourages snakes. And if you really want to know how to encourage snakes around your house, see me at my table after this presentation. I'll give you some tips that will blow your mind and help you out there. But this is it, cedar stuff. Envenomation. This guy's expert. You don't want to get bit. You don't want your hand looking like that. You really don't. This was not a Texas snake. This was a bite from a northern Pacific rattlesnake. But I can tell you, you don't want that pressure in your hand. Does that look painful? It does to me. This guy received 68 vials of antivenom before they started having control. Really amazing story. Looks like he maybe has some tattoos on that arm, I'm not sure. So when you see a snake, or you get bit by one, back away if you get bit or see one. You don't want to get bit twice, so move. Remove anything constricting. You have jewelry on, you have a watch, wearing boots, get that literally off. Do not take anything. Don't go drink a glass of water. Don't drink a Red Bull. You probably have already been drinking alcohol. That's what leads to the bite. That actually wasn't supposed to be funny, but I guess it is. So keep your bite area way above the heart. Or if it's your foot, because that's probably what's going to happen to you ladies. Guys, you're going to get bit on the hand or the face. Lay down and put that foot in the air. And that's all you got to do, and then see him. Don't do any of these things. This is what our anti-venom looks like today. This is your snake bite kit, guys. That is it. Those things you see at Cabela's and Bass Pro Shop, that cute little suction things you have in the glove box, tell you what, put it in a frame, hang it on the wall, and talk about the old days. That's what the old timers used. That's not what you do. Never. No snake bite kit unless it's a way to contact someone, like with a radio or a telephone, and then get your transportation to Ben Taub if it's an adult, Texas Children's if it's a kid. So benefit of snakes, they're cool animals. Because we're going to actually do some demonstrating today. The people that put on this presentation, oh good, I got another snake guy here. The people that put on this presentation do not know I'm doing this in this room. I have learned to ask for what? Forgiveness. Yes, I do not in any way tell people what I'm going to do. So take a look. Snakes give you rodent control. You have like copperheads, cottonmouths, rattlesnakes, How about Lyme disease? Snakes don't give you Lyme disease. They control it. You ever heard of the mice that get the ticks and get the little ticks, right? What happens when a snake eats that mouse? Well, he gets a bonus because he gets some protein from some little ticks, some little arachnids. And they can gobble up 2,500 to 5,000 ticks. Just one snake. They can gobble up those ticks and they can never pass Lyme disease to you. If that timber rattlesnake bites you, puts you in the hospital, you're not going to get Lyme disease from the ticks that were on the mouse. They totally do this. This is great. And then things like fighting cancer. I mean, none of us want to cure the cancer, right? Well, I know we all do. And they're finding southern copperhead is breaking up the cancer-killing cells. They're killing the cells. The actual cancer venom and killing the cells. See this guy here? I love these guys. Canebrooks are awesome. They're the ones that eat all the ticks. This is just a story on it, so you can prove that I kind of got this and then make it up. It's not just my opinion. So snakes eat mammals with diseases. Did you know there's a snake called a coachwood, and they love bats. Bats carry rabies. Snake can't get rabies, cannot give you rabies, but it can eat the animal that has the rabies. Pretty cool stuff. So they're eliminating the rabies from transferring to another animal when they eat it. You know those little pesky, people call them locusts, or something called cicadas. You hear them in the heat of summer, usually August, late July and on, buzzing in the trees, driving you crazy. Well, that old pesky copperhead that puts people in the hospital, they love to eat them. That's their favorite food. Now you're just learning why copperheads end up in your backyard. They're not after anything but those cicadas. This is their favorite food. It's their candy. And then, of course, the Texas rat snake. They like to climb. They're climbers. And they can climb just about anything. These walls would be, they work. Yeah, they can climb these walls. And they get in your attic. They don't want to scare you. They don't want to leave a shedded skin over your Christmas items or your storage stuff up there, your luggage, and you go up there to get your, snake! It's just a shedded skin. And they're eating the mice and rats. The only reason they went there is they found a trail of a mouse. They followed it. They can follow a trail better than these things. And they went up in your attic and got the mice. They might live there the rest of their life, maybe have a family, but it's just more rat snakes to control more rodents.
Are they venomous?
Completely non-venomous. I have been bit on the nose, the cheek, and I have no scar, not even redness. Matter of fact, the one time I got bit on the nose, I was so deep in the woods, I didn't even have a way to wash my face for many hours. So, they have a pretty clean mouth compared to other animals. I'm not saying kiss them or anything, even though they're rat snakes. So, but you take one large 5-foot or longer rat snake, that guy can eat over 200 mice in a single year. That's just one rat snake. Many rat snakes. Think about this. Rodent control is important. Has anybody ever been to New York City? Anybody in this room? Okay, a handful of people. Neat place. Their restaurants have a huge problem with rodents. It's been over 35 years that the black rat snake has been seen in New York City. Humans killed off the rat snake. Now they're having a heck of a time trying to kill off the rodents. So bull snakes, rat snakes are your buddies. Even my grandpa, he had about 200 chickens and he sold the eggs and so forth. And rat snakes, also called chicken snake, they eat chicken eggs. He actually was okay with those rat snakes eating his chicken eggs. Why? Because they also kept the rats out of his chicken feed and out of his barn. You never saw rodents around my grandpa's farm. Pretty neat thing. He didn't like snakes per se, but he knew they were beneficial. Now, if you don't like snakes and you like them dead, please don't chop their heads off. Their brain can stay alive up to 2 hours. They know that they're dead or going to die. They feel pain, they have nerve receptors, and they're hurting and you're making them suffer. So don't do that. But if you have a guy like this, the circle of life, natural, looky here, speckled king snake eating a southern copperhead, a baby one, a young one. And this doesn't hurt my feelings. This is just nature taking its course. This is okay. Speckled king snakes, as you can tell on my shirt here, that's my logo for my company. Great animals. These little guys you see in your flower beds, they're not baby snakes. They're adults at about 6 inches. They might grow up to 14 or 15. They eat slugs. Slugs eat your plants. They eat termite larvae. Termites eat your homes, your buildings. These are one of the most beneficial snakes you can ever find. Neat animals. The only problem is if you have put cedar everywhere, they don't stay around. So you have to think about that. Do you want them or not? I think you want them. So out of the 4 types of venomous snakes, rattlesnake, cottonmouth, and copperhead, they all eat rodents. Yes, they eat other things, but mostly rodents. So even your venomous snakes that put you in the hospital, because that's not their goal. Their venom is made strictly for small animals. That's why it does local tissue damage on us. It's made for something the size of a, small mouse to a squirrel or a rabbit. So you think about these guys eating these rodents, they're helping us. They're not bad, they're good. And that's what you'll find. Now, I'd like to say coral snakes eat rodents, but I'd be silly, they don't. They usually eat lizards, snakes, things like that. They're in the lapid, little cobras, you could say. So the perception of snakes, this is the main part of this whole talk. Perception of snakes. What people think about them, what their behaviors are, what's going on when people encounter the animals. This is a guy named Clint, that's me. And Clint goes to this house in the memorial area. She's a regular client of mine. You talk about ophidiophobia. This lady's scared up to death of snakes. But there is a big snake that won't leave her. It's right after the Memorial Day floods. This is the very next day, and she's right on Buffalo Bayou. There's this big snake that won't leave her porch. I go over there, drop what I'm doing, and oh my goodness, my favorite snake. This is so cool. I pick up an eastern hognose, and I'm checking it out, and out of my peripheral vision, I see another hognose. I go, well, this is cool. I go and pick up the other hognose. When I pick that one up, I see another hognose. They were 2 males chasing this one female. It was spring. It's time they were mating. That's what they wanted, somebody. So I picked up all 3 snakes. Now, has anybody in this room ever photographed snakes before? Or tried to get photos? You try to get the tongue out, right? I mean, that's just what we try to do. Okay, if you look closely at this photo, one tongue is touching my cheek, another tongue is out, the other tongue is out. This lady who is scared half to death of snakes, I hand her my cell phone, she snaps this shot of me, gets all 3 tongues out on 3 different snakes at one time. I spend my life doing this, and she nails it in one shot, and she's scared half to death of snakes. But what am I really pointing out here? These were wild animals. And I picked them up and put them up there in my face. Is that a smart thing to do? I think if you know the species and you know what you're doing, it could be, but not necessarily. If you don't know what you're doing, it's dangerous. I know these snakes will not bite me. They're not biters. I'm not a toad or a frog, therefore they're not going to bite me, period. This is also the mimic of a rattlesnake. This snake is also a mimic of a cottonmouth. Like I said, if you don't know, you don't do it. It's like picking up a gun and you're going to shoot it, but you've never shot that gun before. You don't know anything about it. It's not a smart idea. You have to know. It's not guessing. How about perception? I was doing a talk for the town of Little Known. Their public works people wanted to know how to handle venomous snakes, how to catch them when they received phone calls or when they were out working. Notice how small this snake is here? It's the exact same snake. All I did was change my position, take the photo, and then I passed my cell phone around the room, and I'm getting words like, "You didn't have time to Photoshop that. How'd you do that?" And I go, "It's just like the fish you put out in front of you. It's going to be much larger the closer it is to the camera. So these emails you get of these 20-foot rattlesnakes, they're not 20 feet. For example, this cottonmouth is really only about 20 inches, 18 to 20 inches, pretty small snake. And you can see how big it looks. It looks literally as big as the man. Perception. How about this triangular head? You know it's got a triangular head. It's venomous. That's what they tell us. This is a diamondback water snake, non-venomous and harmless. I mean, it will bite you, but it's harmless. It's just a squirrel will bite you, any wildlife will bite you. Triangular head does not mean venomous. It means it's a snake. That's if it doesn't have legs, that is. And if it has what we call scales. But this is a common myth that we hear. Learn about snakes. The family that got the little guide over there. Get a guide and learn about these snakes. Get a book, learn about these snakes. There's 120 in Texas. Start with the 15 venomous. See this little bump here? This was on a snake named Patches. Mr. Wonderful corn snake. That little bump was cancer. She died 6 months later. We couldn't do a thing to save her. They don't do chemo on snakes, and it's just one of the very, very sad things. Neat animal, but you don't think about snakes getting colds, cancer, infections, bacteria, toenail infections. Well, it's actually in the scales. But they get the same things all of us get. See this kid, isn't he cute? He's dead. He didn't get to grow up. Died at 5 years old. All because why? There was a snake in a tree. They called the police. And the police shot at the snake in the tree. How many of you shoot guns in this room? I do. I like to shoot. Okay. When you shoot this way, what happens to the ammo? The projectile comes down, correct? Yes. Okay, yeah. And it hit this boy in the head and killed him right there. He's fishing with his grandpa. All because there was a rat snake in a tree. That's not a good idea. Perception. They perceived they had to kill the snake. They believed that they were doing a good thing. There's somebody who's not alive because of it. So, and don't ask me questions. I don't want to do that. But you can, I'll advertise. Now what I'm going to do is something I've never done here before, but I have done it many times. Can y'all all hear me? Good. Okay. This is going to be a live demonstration. Yeah, isn't that scary? Yeah. What snake in this area is the most aggressive? Water moccasin? What? Copperhead, water moccasin? Okay, we'll start with the water moccasin. Second team. That's just big. How's that blood? Oh, there you go, big guy. How you doing today? This snake is venomous. If it bites me, I'll need this guy's help. But I'm going to show you, all kids must stay seated. Parents, if a kid gets up, you grab them. This snake, well, let's just see what it does. Notice I'm using a very small hook, kind of long though, but it's also so I can reach in here. I'm going to pick the snake up. Watch how it will sit on the hook. It's moving, but not much, right? And if I hold it way out, somebody takes a photo, it'll look like it's giant. I'm going to put him on the ground. And then I'm going to look at you, and I'm going to look down here, and I'm going to walk around. And then, boy, now if I get behind him, oh boy, I'm getting close. Oh boy, that's strike. I'm going to tell you in a moment. I don't have on any snake-proof anything. Why didn't that snake bite me? I got close to him. This is a western cottonmouth. People will say they're the most aggressive snake. And why isn't it? I don't know why it's not attacking me. It's not attacking me because I'm a monster. See, it'll open its mouth. That's what they normally do. They generally do not want to have anything to do with you. We are giants. If I stand perfectly still, he may come towards me. Not to attack, but for one reason. He thinks I'm a tree that he could hide behind. He's confused. He sees a lot of chairs out there. Notice the very long tail. Now I'm going to show you what a professional would do when they encounter the snake. They would not pin it with their hands. They're not going to use tools. They'd get an empty bucket like this with a screw-on lid. See? Empty screw-on lid. They would set it somewhat close to the snake, staying out of strike range. They'd use a tool like this. By the way, this is my favorite tool. You know what it cost me? It was a broken golf club, and this piece up here is an old paint roller that was no longer useful. 2 throwaway items and a little bit of epoxy. And it's my favorite snake tool. And yes, I have some couple $100 ones over there too. Still my favorite. Now you notice I turned my back on this highly venomous snake. Did it go towards the audience? Did it come back and chase me? I gave it a chance. I turned my back on it. No. This snake that absolutely does not want to do anything to me. It doesn't want to. Why? Because it's not aggressive. It's just a wild animal trying to survive. Now when they start doing this, that makes me a little bit nervous. But I'll tell you, I'll put it in here, or maybe it'll just climb out. We'll see. And when they try to climb out, do I freak out? Is it going to attack me? Of course not. Just let them hang on the edge for a little bit, and then adjust it. The snake. Always moving gently with them. Oh, he wants out. He liked that freedom. Always moving gently with them. Come on, come to the front of, there we go. See if y'all can see him. And you never want to hurt them. So if you notice when I'm going under the snake, I'm doing my best to try to not injure it. Is that difficult? You now have a contained animal, and nothing unsafe was done. It is important to really respect these animals. And even when I take them out, use the same hook. And I'm going to do the same thing with a copperhead. And these are wild animals. I have not practiced this with this snake ever. This has never been practiced before with this animal. And I don't know what that coral snake's going to do. I mean, not coral snake, copperhead. So we'll close that, and we'll go to the next snake. And yes, I do lock these. Why? This place has children here. I don't want a child being able to accidentally open this. Where does the key stay? In my pocket. When I open this, my hands are away from the snake. I'm not opening it and leaving my hands underneath. Though I don't think it will bite me, there's a small chance. So don't take those risks. So now let's take the copperhead. This is the snake. If you're going to get bit by a venomous snake, and this one's going to be a testy snake. This is good. Might smell some musty from this one. This is a broad-banded copperhead, and it's going for the darkest thing it sees. It's going to go underneath my cart, which is what I expected the cottonmouth to do. But you can see it's not coming after me. They don't see that well. They use their heat-sensing pins a great deal. I'll move it over here, give it a chance to go attack you. Venomous snake, the one that bites most people in the state of Texas. And it just sits there. Why? When do they bite? This snake has an amazing ability. I don't know if it'll do it. Y'all see it move real quick to this? I don't know if no venom. I'll see if it'll do it again. Generally, if you touch their back, they bite. They don't hesitate. And that's why people get bit by them. They do not hesitate on biting. But is this a copperhead festival or a rattlesnake festival? Rattlesnake. So it's just showing you how you work with these animals. And I can say I have tons of experience, but what I just taught, I just showed you, I can teach any of you. Anybody can learn to handle these venomous animals safely. My odds are better, probably as much as 50%, that I could get bit someday. I am 56 years old, as I said earlier. I still have never been bit. Today might be my day. I don't know. It might be in the next 3 minutes. I don't know. But I will tell you, when I work with rattlesnakes, I do everything very differently. A rattlesnake is 100 miles an hour or more. A rattlesnake has a long strike distance. They can strike 2/3 to 3/4 the length of their body. So can I get as close to a rattlesnake as I did the other two? I can't. All of them can put me in the hospital, but the rattlesnake's a whole different story. Heard that buzz? And whenever the rattlesnake is over 3 or 4 feet, I almost always use 2 tools. What is this? Another homemade tool. This is a store-bought tool. So I'm using both of these today. This snake can strike up this high. I don't know if it will. Can easily strike at the top of this bucket. Not doing it. You can't make a snake do what you want it to. Oh, man. You notice how much my tool bent. This snake's not going to come out this way. Now this is not a snake that I would get. Way different animal. Can you see its behavior? This snake would not hesitate. I'm keeping the length of the snake as my guide. So I'm probably about 5 feet from it, and that's about a 4.5 foot snake. Watch it, watch me. When I come behind it, it knows I'm here. Yeah. So right now the snake's just nervous. They usually move more than this. So I'll see if I move him, what will happen. Now, the snake is watching me like a periscope, right? But is it attacking me? No. I have attacked it. I've accosted it. I've been rude to it. I know, I wasn't nice. But it gives you an idea of how much respect you must give a rattlesnake compared to the cottonmouth and the copperhead. Do you treat either one with no respect? Of course not. All snakes deserve respect. Every single snake. That's the motto of my company. We give snakes the respect they deserve. I always move the container and the top close to the snake using tools. I do not do this with my hands. When I screw this lid on in a minute, I won't do that with my hand. Yeah. And it's not that, I'm going to get bit. It can't jump, but anything can happen. You always be prepared for the unexpected. So this snake here, the reason I use 2 tools with them is not because they're bad snakes, they're heavy snakes. And one tool puts a lot of stress on their body. It hurts them. It's really hard on their ribs. I always recommend using 2 hooks. I'm here. This is a female. You don't want to go in that bucket. It's okay. I usually try to spot their head before I put the top on. The head's facing this way. It's that way. So when I find where the head is, I go from the opposite side to put the lid on. So I'm not exactly where the head could be. I usually take it and go backwards on these lids, and as soon as I feel it click, nope. When I go backwards, and you get it. There it is. And once it's tight, tighten it with your hand. Walk off with your snake. That's simple. Now, if I made that look easy, I apologize. That's not real easy. The other two are easier to work with. Rattlesnakes can strike fast. They're highly accurate. This infrared, these heat sensors they have between their eye and their nose, gives them an advantage that very few other animals have because they're using their eyeballs, they can see. They're using their heat sensing pits to guide exactly where their target is. These are amazing animals. They're smart. They cannot hear per se, but they actually hear pretty good. Vibrations of our voice. I kick the floor. Let's see if we can do it. We didn't do it. All of y'all heard that. That snake felt that, for sure. They can feel that, even the vibration on a solid concrete floor. So before I quit this presentation and tell you to go on your way and enjoy yourselves, does anybody have any questions?
Yeah, well, you think that snake possesses?
Kind of.
What do you feed?
Rats.
And then how much?
Oh, it eats one rat a month.
Really?
Yeah. She's an old snake.
One rat. What's she eat for a snack?
No snacks, just eats one big rat a month, one full-size adult rat a month. She didn't look unhealthy, did she? Did she look healthy to y'all? Looks healthy to me. She's an older snake. Older snakes do not need to eat as much. If she was, say, 3 or 4 years old, she's more like 15 years old. That snake is. If she was 3 or 4 years old, she would eat every week to every other week. Much more frequently. Good question. Any other questions? Hit me with your best shot. Do your best to embarrass me. I love to be embarrassed. Yes. What's that? The snake's name? Becky? Yes. I've had it a long time. This girl knows the snake's name. Okay, great question. Does this snake lay eggs? The way you want to look at it with snakes, all snakes have eggs. Not all snakes lay eggs. Pit vipers, these over here and this one here, all pit vipers have a litter. They have babies. They do not lay eggs. Your boa constrictors, anacondas, they have a litter. They do not lay eggs. Those little snakes I showed you that eat the slugs and the termite larvae, they have a litter, do not lay eggs. So there's a whole group of them. All your water snakes, the one with a triangular head, that's another live bearer. So we have a lot of live bearing snakes. Yes, sir?
Maybe I missed it. You came in halfway through the presentation.
Okay.
Do you have to be licensed to have these as pets?
Do you have to be licensed to have these as pets? No. Should you? Absolutely. If we lived in Florida, you'd have to be licensed, and I'd have to prove my competency. Now, for my large snake back there, that if anybody's seen a large yellow python, that's my animal, and I have to have a permit for that snake. So there are some snakes you have to, but which snake's more dangerous, this diamondback rattlesnake or that big yellow snake? This one right here, I promise you. Yes. Where do they come out? Okay, where do the eggs come out? Snakes have what's called a cloaca. That's their opening where they go to the bathroom, where they defecate. You've never heard of snake pee because they generally do not pee. They do have urates, and they have, it kind of looks like bird pee on the smaller snakes. Larger snakes a little bit different. Yes. Rattlesnakes what? Ovarious. Oh, oviparous. Any other questions? Good question. Another, see what the question is. In Texas, just Texas. This talk is just for Texas. There's subspecies, different species. There's citrus, and you have what we call the polygamous. Some, not like. So you're not going to have a blacktail and let's say, a Massasauga. They're not going to integrate. And we probably could work with the genetics of a blacktail and a diamondback. An atrox, which is not that. But that's going to work. That's not going to happen. You don't have those kind of integrations. Not no species, correct? Yes. Okay, if you see a young snake, what's the likelihood of more young snakes and a mom being around? Not too likely, but any of you women in the room that have had babies, imagine having 20 babies. They're pretty exhausting. So a lot of times, especially copperheads who have large litters, will generally stay around the babies for quite some time. Some people say they're protecting them. I say they're not. That's just my opinion. I don't see them defending the babies when I've gone to these accounts of 18, 20 babies and the mother is 2 feet away. It's not like you see a dog with her puppies. She covers the dog, shows her teeth, protects them. It's not that. I don't see that protection. But that's usually only for about a week, and then they all go their own separate way. The baby snakes have all their instincts the second they're born or when they hatch. Snakes are not real intelligent, guys. They don't have big brains, but they are highly instinctive, super brilliant instincts, unbelievable, yes. The rest of your life. Now, how long do you have to get to a hospital after you've been dead? You probably have longer than you think. I know of a case, I think it was 4 days, Dr. Green was on, you consulted on that. The girl that got bit, my friend Thumb, was that 4 or 5 days after the bite they received antivenom? Yeah, it was cottonmouth, I think.
So antivenom is most effective in the first 6 hours. That being said, if venom is in circulation, antivenom is still beneficial. So we'll start at 4 days afterward. After about a week, there's probably no benefit. Certainly there's benefit in the first few days, but it's most beneficial in the first 6 hours.
Yeah, you want to go from the bite to Bentob. That's what you want to do. If I was bit right here in Conroe, I would bypass all these hospitals and have somebody either drive me to Bentob or have an ambulance take me to Bentob. Just to give you an idea. Why? He's trained the people there. Right? You have? Yes. How many snakes do I personally own? Y'all really? Does anybody else want to know that answer? How many snakes do I own? About 95 snakes. So owning about 95 snakes was never in the plan. When I started my company about 15 years ago, I had about 11 snakes. And most of them were pets I'd had many years before I started my company. Why do I have 95 snakes today? Any given Saturday, there can be 5 birthday parties going on at one time. I have to have, because it takes about 10 snakes, 8 to 10 snakes to do one birthday party. So I have that many snakes because we're busy. There's times that we're doing these display photos and there's 4 going on around the state of Texas. So it's a real, I just feel very fortunate to be able to do, do what I do. So it's all about, it's not that I want to have that many snakes. And I'll be honest, my giant pythons, they're rescues. I don't really, no offense. Joe's been a great snake. Love him, but if for some reason I became too ill or maybe a physical ailment, I was paralyzed, I couldn't do this business anymore, they'd be gone in a week. I'd find homes for those big snakes. Somebody would want them. I have them because of one reason. My audiences love me. I could not believe the first time I brought that rescue out just to talk about it, and I watched people from all around crowd around me, and I'm going, I've been doing this a long time. There's something about these big yellow snakes. Yeah, so you kind of got to do what your audience wants, whether you want to or not. Any other questions? Yes? Oh, she'll show me a snake. Well, I was told, I didn't read this. This would be right outside the door to your left. It's join the match register. So this is the way you can help other people. So definitely go over there. This is about leukemia. This is important stuff. I don't think there's probably not a person in this room that has not been touched by somebody they've lost from cancer or dealing with cancer, fighting it, and they're still here, thank goodness, these type things. But snake venom has done tons in the cancer world, and it's hard to get people. We need big monies for this research. It's hard research. Can't wait to introduce two people together after I get out of here. So if you ever need to get a hold of me, TexasSnakes.net, real easy. Just type in Texas Snakes in Google. I'll show up at the top. It's not because I pay big money. It's because I've been doing this so long. It's a very old website. And it looks old, but people can find me. If you ever have a question about a snake, contact me. If you see a snake and want to know what it is, take a photo of it. You can text it to me. My flyers are on my table back there. And where it says emergency number, that's my cell number. Text it to me and I'll tell you what it is. Email it to me and I'll identify it. I love doing that. You know how much I charge for my identification? Zip. I love doing it. It is so much fun. The blurry pictures are really, like there was one, somebody sent me a picture just yesterday of here in Conroe, and I'm looking at it, and I get it in Photoshop, trying to clean it up a little bit. I like to play with Photoshop, Illustrator and stuff. Cleaning it up, and I write the people back, and I go, is this snake about 2 or 3 feet long? They write back, it's about 6 inches. Yeah, like it's a washed water snake. It's in a cage back there. But it's crazy what you can do from a photo, but you can learn a lot. The clearer the photo, the better, but even a blurry one, we can figure out what it is, usually. And I'll tell you some tricks real quick. If a snake is 6 or 7 feet long, it's going to be an indigo, western diamondback, eastern coach whip. What's another one? Bull snake or rat snake.